The Rain and the Stranger. The rain poured relentlessly that night. The city lights blurred through the windshield of Adrian Blake's sleek black car as he drove past the crowded street. The billionaire CEO of Blake Enterprises, known for his icy demeanor and ruthless business tactics, was heading home after another long, lonely day. He stopped at a red light when his eyes caught a small movement by the bus stop. A young woman, soaked to the bone, sat huddled on the bench, clutching a tiny baby wrapped in a torn blanket. She was trying to shield the infant from the rain with her coat, humming softly, her lips trembling from the cold. Something in that fragile scene pierced through Adrian's usual indifference. He watched as the baby whimpered, and the woman quickly took out a small bottle, half filled with milk, and began feeding him with shaking hands. For reasons he couldn't explain, Adrian turned off his car engine and stepped out, rain soaking his expensive suit in seconds. "Miss, you'll get sick out here," he said, his voice deeper than the thunder rumbling above. She looked up, eyes tired but kind. "We're fine, thank you, sir," she whispered. "We just need a place to wait until the bus comes." But there was no bus coming. The line had been shut down hours ago. Shelter and secrets. Adrian couldn't bring himself to leave. "Come," he said firmly. "I'll take you somewhere warm." She hesitated, clutching her baby tighter. "I don't know you." "I'm not asking you to trust me," he replied, his voice softening, "just to keep your child safe." After a long pause, she nodded. Inside the car, silence filled the space. The baby cooed softly, and Adrian noticed the woman's clothes were soaked through. "There's a towel in the back," he murmured. "Thank you," she said, her voice barely audible. When they arrived at his mansion, an enormous, glass-walled home on the hill, her eyes widened. This is your house?" "Yes." He motioned to the maid to bring warm clothes and soup. As she sat by the fire, her baby sleeping soundly beside her, Adrian finally asked, "What's your name?" "Lila," she said softly. "Lila Dawson." "And the baby?" "Eli." He glanced at the little boy, so small, so innocent. "Where's his father?" She looked away, tears filling her eyes. "Gone. He left before Eli was born." Adrian's chest tightened, he didn't know why that hurt to hear. The past she hid. Over the next few days, Adrian let Lila and her baby stay in one of his guest rooms. She offered to clean and cook in return, insisting she didn't want charity. He noticed how she smiled through exhaustion, how gently she held Eli even when her hands were rough and bruised. One morning, while bringing her tea, he overheard her on the phone. "Yes, I'll find another job soon. I just needed a place for Eli," she whispered. "Please, don't tell anyone where I am." There was fear in her voice. That night, Adrian couldn't sleep. Who was she running from? He asked his assistant to do a background check, but when the report arrived, it wasn't what he expected. Lila Dawson had once been a nurse, fired after exposing corruption in a private hospital owned by one of his rival companies. She had lost her home, her job, and nearly her life after refusing to stay silent. And now she was sitting under his roof, because fate had placed her in his path. The ice melts. The man who never cared for anyone found himself waiting for her smile, for the sound of Eli's giggle echoing through his empty mansion. One evening, as Lila fed Eli by the fire, Adrian sat beside her. "You should have told me," he said gently. She flinched. "I didn't want pity." "It's not pity," he murmured. "It's respect." Their eyes met, his cold blue gaze softened, her brown eyes glistening with tears. "I've spent years building walls around myself," he admitted. "But you and that little boy, somehow, you made them fall." Her lips trembled. "Why would someone like you care about someone like me?" He smiled faintly. "Because for the first time in a long time, I feel alive." Hope returns. Months later, the rain returned, but this time, it fell softly against the windows of their shared home. Lila had started working again, helping at Adrian's new charity clinic for single mothers. Eli learned to crawl, his laughter filling the halls that once echoed with silence. Adrian often stood by the window, watching them with quiet joy. He had found something no empire could buy: warmth, family, and love. One evening, Lila approached him, holding Eli in her arms. "You found me when I had nothing left," she said, smiling through tears. "You gave me hope again." Adrian cupped her face gently. "No, Lila. You gave me something I never had, a reason to feel." And under the same rain where they'd first met, the cold CEO finally felt warm again.